There's a bunch of stuff we got to talk about. The world is... Claire, are you recording? There's a bunch of stuff we need to talk about. The world is going through some craziness, through some hectic stuff. But before we get into it, I want to welcome my co-host, Jay Perry.
Look what I'm doing, bro. And you were like, yo, don't fiddle with the mic.
The whole
and
time,
stuff.
bro, putting things on this thing.
My bad. But it's 2021, like you said, bro. We took a tad bit of a break, but we back. We back. Better than ever. This year is going to be out of this world. Phenomenal. 21 represents the key to success, the key to blessings, the key to life, the key to just goodness and mercy, bro.
Of course it is.
Paris, bless up.
So, bro, we live in such a crazy time where I've decided for 2021 that I'm just gonna go with my plans anyway, regardless of whether there's gonna be a lockdown, whether there's gonna be a lock-up, whether there's gonna be whatever's gonna come, just has to come. Whatever the president says on TV tonight or tomorrow or next year,
I think it's on Thursday. I think.
Bro, it doesn't matter at this point anymore. It's like, yo, we gotta get our ducks in a row. We gotta decide where we wanna be, what we're trying to achieve, and we gotta make a way to get to our dreams and to get to our goals regardless.
Big facts. I mean, life doesn't stop, bro.
Nah,
life
and
doesn't
it can't
stop and it can't stop. And things are always changing. And it's just up to us, obviously, to adapt and just to vibe with the changes and do what we can do in that season. I mean, don't stop.
Of course, but I do feel that there are people, however, that are going through this vibe where they get bogged down with the negativity, where they get kind of thrown off with and I don't blame them, because it obviously does. Like, you sit there and you listen to all this negativity. I mean, every time you switch the radio on, every time you switch the TV on, everywhere you go, the marketing for COVID-19, I mean, it's insane. I wonder how many billions of dollars they spend on just marketing, like, all over. I mean, every social media network, every TV station, every radio station, there's promos, there's adverts, there's big billboards, there's literally all over wherever it is that you turn. Which begs the question, I got a question on that.
What's up?
I got a major question on that, though.
What's up?
Do you think if there wasn't so much effort spent in the marketing, do you think people would be as afraid as they are? Get straight into the fire.
I don't think so, because obviously, bro, we living in a day and age where leadership basically, how can I say, they control what you got to believe. So if they say go left, you go left. If they say go right, you go right. So I vibe with that question, bro. And I think it is because you switch on, you turn on the radio. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Or what's the first thing that they say? COVID. On social media as well, COVID. So of course, it's being pressed down upon us, and not even so much the good side, because we don't really hear about the recoveries and so forth on. You mainly just, this is the people that, has been infected, and this is the amount of deaths. And with that being said, obviously, we also have to take in consideration the fact that there has been, and rest in peace to all of those people, that there has been I've been seeing a bunch of RIPs on the timeline. So I think that's also... another thing.
I have a question on that. I have a question on that too. So this is just
nah,
me.
It's cool.
I know you. My mind, like, just thinking things, right?
I know you got a lot of stuff concerning COVID, bro. So
it's just my mind thinking things. So president comes out, says, look, we got wave, blah blah blah, boom, wave hits the top. I'm not disputing that. All over social media, RIP. People are passing, blah blah blah. All legit, all true, all real. 100%. Fine, cool. Then president disappears for a second. Everything drops. No talk of COVID. Do you remember there was like a month or two where, like, nobody was even talking about it? It was like, let's open the borders, let's open things, let's go back to real life. People were having parties again. There was no mask wearing, nothing, blah, 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 blah. No one was RIPing. There was, like, everything was chilled.
Facts, and it's amazing how, like, what you're saying, bro. When the president says something,
next
all
thing
of a sudden
comes on TV, boom. The second wave, there's this. Lockdown, switch off everything, don't go anywhere, da-da-da. Next thing, RIP. So my question is, I guess, just my mind being, inquisitive.
Cool, bro. It's cool.
Do the RIPs directly link to every time there's an announcement, or every time World Health Organization says there needs to be a lockdown? why are they so closely related? Or I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Someone might be watching this saying, don't be stupid, whatever. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking.
Nah, but obviously you have to be in a position where you have to think and reason for yourself, especially because this is a major factor in what's
It
taking
affects
place.
your
Yeah,
life.
it does affect. So at some point you do have to, sit back and be like, yo, something is definitely fishy. Something is definitely fishy. I mean, with, like you're saying, the fact there was one stage where the president was like, okay, masks don't work. And you would go into Pick and Pay, and they had that sign where they were like, yo, the masks don't work and so forth on. And then next thing, no one's wearing masks.
Yeah, and then everything was fine.
And everything is cool.
Then comes out and says mask work.
No.
Yo, so we're going to get deeper into this because there's a bunch of new things that have come to light. There's a bunch of craziness. People are really questioning. The questions are starting to pop up all over, including vaccine questions, including people who got the vaccine and they got different results. There's a bunch going on.
What do you think? What do you think about the president's tears, though? A couple of weeks ago on.
My personal opinion.
What's up?
So I believe that's a free platform.
Facts,
my
bro.
personal opinion.
I don't vibe with it. That's my personal opinion. It's a screen in front of the homie, bro, and of course,
it says cry now.
Yeah, show emotion in parentheses, and it's like
so my personal opinion, and people have freedom to think what they want, say what they want. Till they can comment on this, they can believe, they can not agree, they can disagree, whatever. It's up to them. But my personal opinion is that obviously the president is surrounded with his advisors and with the people who tell him what to do and when to do it and how to do it. I think even to the point where that white thing was there, somebody needs to say, yo, G, just do this. Or like, you're surrounded with so many people.
The mask thing as well. Obviously, it's they plan
over the face.
Yeah, it's they plan to.
So here's my theory.
All the serious things. And
then do something funny because we know people are going to tweet and
now they're tweeting about this and they forgot about
all this untidiness. So my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that he was coached towards like, yo, look, this lockdown, people are not going to vibe with it. People are losing their jobs. This is crazy. I don't know how people are going to receive this news. So if you show some emotion, they might receive it a little bit easier. And it worked like a charm. People were like,
where's that 500 billion?
People were like, yo, don't be like that. He was crying and da-da-da. And I'm sitting there like, yo, he's supposed to show some sort of emotion so that people could feel
I think it would have been a lot better if he was like, yo, guys, there was 500 billion, and I'm going to be honest with the country.
We done eat it all.
We done up. We done messed up.
Because straight after that, this one guy that actually, I think was on ENCA, one of the hosts or the anchors there, they actually were interviewing Jess Duarte, which is part of the ANC, and they said, yo, look, the first time you guys told us to lock down was because you wanted to fix the hospitals, and that was your reason for locking down. It's been almost a year. Have you guys fixed the hospitals? What happened to the 500 billion? You guys said you were going to look into people stealing them. Because remember, President came out, we're going to put together a team because there was a lot of corruption. People
and I think we do have the right to ask these questions.
Yeah, bro,
right?
because we in the end have to pay.
If you come on the other side saying it's because of y'all, that's why this is taking place.
We need to ask, but now where's that 500 billion? And so the host of ENCA was asking one of the ANC people to say that, yo, look, you locked us down because you wanted to sort out the hospitals. Yeah. Did you sort out the hospitals? A lot of people coming back saying that there's still shortages. Some of the things still weren't done that was said was going to be done last February or last March. So what is actually happening, and that just further makes you ask questions. It's like, yo, somewhere, somehow you gotta ask, like, hold on, guys, this doesn't sound right. So be that as it may, it is a new year. We got some New Year's resolutions. We got a bunch going on. Question is, do New Year's resolutions work, bro?
I think yes. In some cases it does, bro. But for me personally, I listened to a sermon within December, and I think it was Pastor Atifanyao, where he mentioned something interesting. He had, his yearly encounter with, the Holy Spirit, sitting down and asking God, what is it that you want for me for the next year? What is it that you want? And he said that for the first time there was no response from the Holy Spirit, from God. There was no response at all. And then he went to, I think it was some gathering with the fam, and the Holy Spirit guided it, told him, go sit in your car, I need to speak to you. And he did that. And then the Holy Spirit told him that you want something new from me. However,
you didn't finish.
There's so much I placed within you already.
That you didn't finish.
But I think, obviously, like I started off, I did say, I think it varies and it differs from person to person. But I find myself in that category where it's like, I personally haven't asked God, okay, it's 2021, what's going on? What's up? What do you want from me this year? Because I do know there's a lot of things that God already placed on my heart already. It's the same thing with Pastor Stephen Furtick, when he was on a plane landing in Charlotte. And he did the same thing, started writing a bunch of stuff. And he thought, okay, maybe I should get on a plane again and God can give me more stuff to do. And every time after that, God didn't speak.
Because he was supposed to finish the first
You had
task.
to finish. So I think that's something key. And I think we're all living in a day and age where something was birthed in the past that I need to go and finish. So for me, it's more of a case of, Lord, give me the tenacity and the zeal to go and do what you've already placed in my heart.
100%. And so before we continue, we got our anchor joining us today, which is quite cool. We got Roden, Mr. Rowe, that's with us. Mr. Rowe,
compliments of the new year,
hey,
guys.
man, thank you so much. How's things been going? How was the holidays treating you? What's the New Year's looking like?
You know what Romania means? Yeah, no, I
went to Romania.
I went to Romania this year. So hopefully, in the next month or so, I can get away a little bit for a week. But that is based upon, I love the topic this morning, and if I can maybe just come in there on the conspiracy theories, and as well as, what people are putting down as resolutions for the year. A lot of things conspiracies normally are based upon fact or fiction, right? And let me clarify that for you guys. Sometimes there's fact, and undeniably there are things that are really happening. You can't deny it.
You can't run away from it.
It's fact, right? But fact can be distorted as well. But then you get fiction. And what media does is media can manipulate fiction and make it seem
as fact.
And, unfortunately, we as human beings are gullible enough. And, I heard you mention earlier that there's that fear factor that comes. And I mean, in our discussion, we said it's almost like a cartel situation, a Mexican cartel situation where they come and there's a lot of deaths and it creates a sense of fear.
Yeah.
But it can be fact or it can be fiction.
It can be fiction.
It can be conspiracy or
it can be real.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. This topic's already heated, and we just.
What's your take on it, though?
We just got started. But before we go on to what's your take on it, there was a bunch of things happening in media. There's a bunch of things happening around the world.
Yeah.
The U.S. Capitol got stormed a couple of days ago.
Yep.
because of something that happened on the U.S. president came out there and he was speaking about, we're gonna march, we're gonna do A, B, and C, we're gonna go do some crazy stuff, and people heeded to that call. They approached the Capitol, they broke in, they destroyed some, vandalized some stuff. A cop shot a woman, she died. There was some violence. Some cop got hit over the head with a fire extinguisher. Apparently, he succumbed to his illness, to the injury later in hospital, and so there was a bunch going on. And so after that, the president of America, he's the only president for a couple of days now before they need to do the switch, got deleted from Twitter, and his account was permanently deleted. Twitter, wherever he was completely removed from social media. Which brings us to the next one, which is, in the beginning of COVID, a lot of people were raising their hands saying, "Hey, hold on, there's a couple of things we don't agree with here. Yeah. Hey, hold on." For example, that one lady that's a U.S. doctor that's actually originally from Nigeria. she raised her hand and said, hey, hold on, I've been treating my COVID clients with, certain medication and it's been working for them.
Yeah.
Why are we forcing this issue of vaccines, this, that, and the other? The second that video went up, if you didn't download it within the hour,
couple of minutes.
you weren't going to find it up anymore.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is, it's starting to become increasingly visible and obvious that either something's being hidden or there's an agenda being pushed, and the second you go against that agenda, we know it as cancel culture. The second you go against that agenda, your video gets removed, your things get blocked, your account gets taken away, things happen. And I guess the question is, freedom of speech on social media, is our freedom of speech at jeopardy here? Are we getting to a place where if you don't agree with what status quo says, you're getting cancelled, you're getting deleted, your account's being hacked, or whatever? What's your thought on that, Mr. Ross?
Just what's trending at the moment, and if you look on Eyewitness News as well as on ENCA at the moment, one incident that took place yesterday was a group of pastors, 19 pastors in Sebokeng, decided that they were going to defy the COVID-19 rules, right? If you look at that news article, right, not a lot of information is publicized around the actual fact around it.
And I didn't hear about it until you mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was on the news briefly.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, it's obvious that media will push their own agenda. They will give you a snippet of what is really happening. However, they need to shut and close that news
as quick as they can.
As quick as possible, they need to shut it down because it might just incite or go against. I mean, this is the old defiance campaign from a group of pastors. I mean, look, there's a word in literature that we call rhetoric, right? What politicians and a lot of media houses utilizes is rhetoric. It's in terms of, I mean, Trump standing on a podium, right, making some statements and
Inciting
deliberately
people.
inciting a group of people to act
respond,
in a certain way, right? So
Facts.
remember now that, but that's exactly what the media does, and that is what people are coached to do in terms of media and to fulfill most probably a certain agenda that we are not necessarily aware of, right?
Facts.
So yeah, that's exactly what is happening in media. I mean, with WhatsApp and the secrecy around that, I mean, the notification went out, right? And now it is up to us to decide in terms of, do you accept it or not? But then there's a threat that they will cancel your account if you don't accept.
Before we go to the WhatsApp one, because that's good. That's definitely where we're gonna jump on to now. But Jay, before we go to that one, the freedom of speech one.
Yeah, can I hop on that?
Jump onto it. That's what I want to ask.
I'm gonna be a party pooper here for all people in government, social media, and everything.
You go, Jay.
Everything that y'all want to drive and push now, we know it already because it has been written. I'm speaking from a Christian perspective.
Come on.
You're speaking to Revelation, yeah.
The control that people want to have on this world. I mean, they pushing the agenda of you have to wear this. At this specific time, you have to be indoors and so forth on. And we can see, even with the vaccine coming up, how you're going to have to take the vaccine.
In order to travel, or in order to go
and
into
so
hospital.
forth on. And of course, this just shows that we're not far off the chip.
All of this is biblical.
It can take, it can take place at any given time now. The government decides to go on and say, you know what? There's a specific thing that you need in order to get X, Y, and Z. We're not far
Which is
off.
revelation, and which I agree with, and this is something my wife and I spoke about this
I don't know
morning.
why people are surprised.
Nah, bro.
Did you hear this? Did you hear WhatsApp is doing this? Come on.
So here's the thing: conspiracy theories. Growing up, I had a friend of mine who used to like Clayton and I. We all had similar friends, and he used to like these videos about Illuminati. Remember, Clayton used to these conspiracy theories and these like. All these stories, and back in the day, like I'm talking about between 7 and 10 years ago, there was this one video clip that we watched at our friend's place. once we were having a meeting and he was playing this video about how the new world order is gonna come and how like everyone's gonna use the same currency and everyone's gonna speak the same language so that everyone can be controlled under this, which Revelation also speaks about how different order is going to come. And those things like 7-10 years ago, you'd watch that Illuminati and conspiracies and this and that, and you would sit there thinking, brother, this is far-fetched,
Yes.
this is conspiracy, this is this, that, and the
Will never
other,
happen.
this won't happen. And then last week, Bitcoin pops up, I think, to I don't know how many thousands of dollars. Like I don't have the stats right in front of me at the moment. I don't say the wrong number, but Bitcoin pops up. Everyone hops onto Bitcoin. Even old school banks that didn't believe in online currencies and this and that, they all say, yo, we gotta buy it. Bitcoin, everyone's leaving what they're doing and they're all going into Bitcoin. So now people are saying, yo, here's this thing that conspiracies were talking about, that everything's gonna start becoming one currency, and that's what's happening. These different conspiracy theories, and the question, I guess, is, are the conspiracies that we used to hear about or read about or watch videos about 5 to 10 years ago becoming a reality now? What would you say? Is it definitely becoming real?
Obviously, it's to quote the Bible, it's signs of the times, right? Obviously, and like Jay said, we must not be ignorant of what is happening around us, right? Yes, I must say, there's people that are concerned, there are people that are in fear, right? But we come against fear, right?
Come on.
But now, if you look at what the Bible which has been around for 2,000 years, right? It has given us all the signs, all the directives in terms of stuff that are going to happen, right? We are all, yes, some conspiracy theories. There are people that, if you look at, there's a book about a philosopher, Nostradamus, many years ago, that saw certain things going to happen, which did happen, right? So you must not necessarily be ignorant about conspiracy theories, but like I said, there's fact and there's fiction.
How do you balance it out, though? As a person of the faith, how do you balance it out?
Can I jump on that question? So this morning, my wife and I, she's like, yo, let's pray, cover our family. Let's just, do a prayer. So in my prayer, I'm speaking about how, God must just give us wisdom, guidance to be able to navigate this season, because it's clear that we're approaching end times. It's clear that we're approaching a season of it's ride or die. It's like it's either you're going to be persecuted for the sake of the gospel, or you're going to accept what the world is throwing at you. And so I think what's starting to happen is a clear line starting to form that, look, you're going to have to choose a side and you're going to have to ride with that side. And the clear line is that if you choose the side of defying the government and defying status quo, you're going to be ostracized, you're going to be canceled, your accounts are going to be deleted, things are going to not go your way. But again, that is biblical, where it's a matter of, and you shall be persecuted for my name's sake. So it's I think it's inevitable that the side you're going to choose, it's going to be like a Daniel in the lion's den situation, or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego situation. It's like either you're going to bow or you're going to get thrown into the furnace. And from here on out, God is going to have to protect you. You have no choice.
I think you need to be sensible in terms of how you utilize the platform that you are using. If it's going to be a WhatsApp, a YouTube, or even a Facebook. In terms of, like I said, now we just need to be clever in terms of how we utilize our rhetoric, right? How we use our words to really portray and get that message out. Yes, if we are too right, then
too straight to the point.
Too straight to the point.
You're going to get cancelled.
You're going to get cancelled, right? Because obviously that is defying the status quo, right? However, but that is why I'm saying utilize the platform in such a way that it complements exactly what you are doing as well as it gets the message
So
out
you need to be smart about how
You
you
need to be
navigate
smart.
your way through.
Remember now, we are speaking here about conspiracy theories. We spoke earlier about fact and fiction. We also spoke earlier about that there's an agenda. Each and every one of us need to have a proper agenda. And that gets back to, you need to have a proper goal for 2021, right? In order to, if you do have a proper agenda and you purposely work towards that agenda,
You can
yes,
achieve it.
You will achieve it. But you need to be sensible about it.
I think with the whole social media thing, and yes, we are living in a day and age where, you know, social media is a thing. It's a big thing around that we can't use. But we also have to ask the question, Jesus and them didn't have social media back then. Yet, they impacted so many lives, so many people. So for us, you know, for me personally as Christians, we don't really even need to worry about being canceled on that platform. That is just a platform.
Okay.
That is just a platform.
It's a platform.
I believe if you have a word, if God has called you for such a time as this,
can override
you
the
don't
platform.
need this. You don't need this. Word of mouth will get out there. And that's what took place.
That's true. Which brings us to
So
our
if-
next topic, which is the WhatsApp recently, like you've alluded to earlier, are now changing their privacy policies. I think on the 8th of February, where you are unable to continue on the platform unless you give them certain types of rights or certain types of access to your account. So I've been researching the topic, and one of the things that actually freaked me out was that they actually get unadulterated, royalty-free rights to your content. So if they want to use a picture, they want to use a video, whatever, they can use it to their own discretion.
Or, and the flip side of that is, they can take you off the system completely. With no
With no recourse or no
anything.
yeah. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, look, it's again, you need to look at what the policy says. The policy, in terms of its update, it's in terms of they are publicizing it as it is common for the industry for them to do that. However, if you read through their fine print in terms of it's a marketing tool again, allowing you access for them to market whatever they want
To you.
Right? And look, obviously these guys are very clever because they use various algorithms in order to, and they use your information in order to sell stuff back at you.
To
right?
channel that, whatever it is that you're looking for.
Exactly.
I heard
And
someone
they
saying
make
if
a huge
you're
money with that.
having a chat about a jacket or a shoe or whatever, then they can channel their marketing to you. Sorry.
Is this whole thing a bad thing, though? The way it's been blown out of proportion?
Again, there's good in it and there's
Yeah.
bad in it, right? But now, again, it's somebody enforcing their agenda because at the end of the day, these guys are making huge millions and billions rands of money.
Dollars.
Because remember, there's over 200 billion users on WhatsApp, right? It's huge. It's huge. And you spoke earlier about the freedom of speech, right? Yes, Jesus them didn't have WhatsApp, but they had word of mouth. And that is exactly what WhatsApp is. It's word of mouth. Because you say something, you share that, whatever you saying, and it's exactly that. I mean, you mentioned it now. Whatever you like, right, or whatever you talk about, right, on these social media platforms. That is why they want to market it now.
But doesn't
Remember-
it also work for you, though, if you're saying whatever you like? Because now you're speaking about what the things you like, and with that information,
they market
yeah,
it back to you.
they market it back to you. So doesn't it also work in your favor?
Like I said, but you must have the choice in order to say, yes, I want that information or not. What they're saying is that we're not giving you that choice.
We're just
but we're
shoving
gonna-
it down your throat.
We're shoving
And
it
so
down your
and
throat.
so I think it coincides with everything going on. Remember, so I was speaking to someone the other day and I asked them, do you understand the meaning of the term propaganda? They didn't understand it. I explained it to them. Do you understand the meaning of the term agenda? They didn't understand it. I explained to them. So whenever you in a position of power and you want to drive an agenda, you want to get a certain thing done, you have the financial means to do it, you have the ability to, you have the reach to do it, you can then enforce it on whoever you want to enforce it on. And this is what the big, they call them the Silicon tech companies or Silicon Valley tech companies. Or this is what they're doing. If they have a certain agenda, they can shove it down your throat and there's nothing you can do about it. We see it all across the board. Whether if and dare you disagree or dare you say that now actually I want to opt out of this, boom, you get ostracized, as we say, you get cancelled, your platform gets taken away, and that's what I'll do.
And look, the premise of this whole new rules and privacy rules for WhatsApp is purely, they say they want to share the information between their other platforms, which is Facebook and Instagram, and they're not necessarily going to deal with the content of the message. However, the content of the messages is actually the triggers that gives access to all the information that they pour back into you. So, it doesn't make sense, they say that they're not going to actually look at the context or the text that you're sending. Because if you can use profanity or you say something defying rules and regulations, that's why people's accounts are being suspended for that exact reason.
I think the whole point is to really get into your business and to kind of control what you say, how you say it. So if you're pushing an agenda of Christianity and you want to speak against, if you want to uprise against like this, and I think that's what it's all busy zeroing in on, the fact that we as the government or we as whoever, we are driving this narrative, we are driving this agenda, and if we it's communism. Do you understand what communism is? So if you speak about I think it's is it North Korea with a big communism. North Korea has such a Kim Jong-un, they have such a control over people's privacy that they can decide what those people must see, how they must see it, when they must see it, to the point where they have certain channels on TV that is only certified by the North Korean government. They have certain things that they can do that is only certified by the North Korean government. So what that does is, before, if you understand anything about communism, my father has a friend from Bulgaria, and they were speaking about when they used to be under the rule of communism and all of that. They were only allowed to drive brown cars or green cars, and they were only allowed to wear gray clothes. And with that, it kind of puts the people under the spell almost of you do what we tell you to do. You don't have your own freedom. You can't say what you want to say. You can't do what you want to do. This is how we're going to control you. And so again, with WhatsApp getting such access to your privacy, it's a matter of the second you say, hey, hold on, I disagree with this, boom, they delete you, they cancel your thing, they switch off your stuff, and then so it's another form of communism. In fact, it's communism.
Yeah.
It's control.
It's control.
But I want to ask, we as the church, though, and it gets back to my question that I asked. We as the church, what is our approach to all of this? Is it, okay, they're shutting this down and they want to control this, let us look for a different platform or a different media to get this out? When are we actually going to, stand up and say, what you're doing is not?
So I agree with what Mr. Rowe was saying, what their church is actually defying it. This is my personal opinion. Take me away from anything that I'm connected to or linked to. This is just me. Cancel me then. But I agree with those churches actually standing up and saying, whoa, guys, wait. We can't just accept whatever you throw on us and then we must eat it. It's like, all right, guys, what if we don't agree? What if we don't want? It's like I'm going to use a strong term, it's like being raped. It's like you forcing your will on someone else without their permission, whether they like it or not. So your freedom, your everything is literally, it's communism. It's being taken away. You can't decide whether you want to or not. In fact, it's being enforced so much so. Do you know that when they first started lockdown, there was a lot of irregularities. They weren't allowed to do certain things that they were doing. Then certain people started standing up saying, hey, hold on, guys, you're actually not allowed to do 1, 2, and 3. Then they put the country into a state of emergency. And apparently under the law of state of emergency, you can switch and change however you want. That is, so they leaving the country under state, which was only supposed to be, I think, 14 days, or I think their first season, I think, 14 days, I think it was, in when they first started the lockdown, was in April or somewhere there, was only supposed to be in that period. But they've now extended, it's almost a year now that the state of emergency is being extended. And the reason they do that is so that they can switch and change laws on a whim, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's you slowly starting to fall into a state of communism, and they just kind of like buying you, and you just accepting it, and everything is just fine.
And what about the guys that are complying 100% with all the rules and regulations? Now they're being combed under exactly the same comb, and everybody must just follow the same rule. I mean, for example, churches now are being combed under
the parties and
exactly.
the nightclubs and the things, the taverns.
I don't know if you saw there was a picture that was trending yesterday on social media, where they had a picture of a plane where everybody in the plane was packed. There was no empty seat in the plane. But then there was a picture of a church, and the church is completely empty, right? Up until now, there's no statistics, right, indicating that there was any infections caused
on that plane.
No,
church.
By a church.
The church.
Right. Because the churches have been complying.
They've been social distancing, they've been having
distancing,
thingies hand sanitizers at the doors.
People wear masks. So all of that we've been compliant, right? And I mean, look, there's what's happening in the malls.
I was just about to say that's another convo on its own.
I was going to say the
malls
malls
into consideration.
So back to, is this a conspiracy theory, right? Because in essence, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, right? I mean, if on the news this morning, the Hilton in KZN closed down, right? And it has a ripple effect. The beaches closed down. No conferences at ICC, which brings all the expos and conferences into that center because it's closed. The ripple effect goes to the tourism. And it's literally millions of rands that are being lost. But the guy that is the cleaner, that cleans the hotel rooms, are now sitting without job, right? And that's the ripple effect. So, you know what? If people based on are using conspiracy theories to drive a certain agenda, that agenda does not necessarily affect the guy at the top.
No, it doesn't affect the guy at the top, and I think
it's where the bottom line.
That's part of what people are saying. They're saying that they're trying to kill people's jobs. They're trying to stop people so that they can be dependent on the government or on the people who have the money, and so it's another form of control, and it's another form of power, which is it's working. Everything that they're trying to do is actually working. People are losing their jobs. People are dropping. I mean, if a country like America just signed the other day $2,000 a month for a fund that they're giving the people that are unemployed or that were affected by COVID, whatever, they getting that money. A country like ours can't afford to give people 20,000 rand a month. That's someone's salary that works a decent job.
Yeah, maybe a discussion for another day is the fact that at South Africa, are we playing in
a big boys?
Yeah,
small fish in a big pond kind of setup.
And we don't necessarily have the billions of bucks, right?
We had it.
We had it somewhere.
We had it. That's
that
cool.
disappeared.
Yeah.
Right. But that is why we are in the situation that we are.
Can I ask a last question? It's gonna cause trouble, but whatever it causes, it will
No,
cause.
they mustn't just delete us. Please don't delete us.
2-3 years ago, in fact, our South African government, is it known to be an honest government? I'm asking a question. Answer. I'm busy setting up my story here.
So you want us to respond?
Yes. Is it known to be an honest government?
No.
Okay. Is it known to be involved in theft and corruption?
Oh, yes.
On a high scale.
Yes.
Probably the highest in the world.
Yeah.
Is it known to not do their jobs correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a known fact that if you go to what's this, Home Affairs, you probably gonna have to take the week off
Yeah, you
from
gotta
work.
take the week off, bro.
And because you're not sure how long you're gonna sit there, you're not sure if you're gonna get your thing today, you're not sure if you're gonna get to the front of that line
And
after
that's
you've been standing for 3 days.
And that can be said of
Yeah,
any government
yeah.
department.
And they're gonna tell you now that, hey, sorry, you fill in the wrong form. You're supposed to fill in the yellow one, or you're supposed to fill in the pink one. We've all South Africans have had that experience somewhere, whether it was license department, whether it was
It's
your
the
ID,
norm.
whether
It's
it was
the norm.
In fact, it got to the point where we accept that that's how it is. It's got to the point where you go and look for it. The other day when I did my passport, I drove to I think an hour away to another municipality where it was empty and it was quiet to go and get my passport done, because I knew that if I went to the Joburg one, if I went to somewhere else, I went there and the lines were standing around the block for 2-3 days, and eventually I decided, in fact, somebody told me, why don't you go to the other one, it's quiet there. And then I actually ended up going there. Here's the question. I've built you all the way up. All the answers were yes to all the above. It's a corrupt government. They're stealing the money. They're eating the people's things. They don't care about the people. The hospitals weren't fixed in years. Bara, people used to die outside, halfway in the street. Here's my question. How do, out of the blue, they are so concerned about your well-being? First question. Second question, how do they have such accurate statistics if they hadn't done proper capturing, proper anything in years?
In the past, yeah.
In years. If you try and even just look up simple things, you're not going to find results. The last census was done 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever. How all of a sudden do you get minute-to-minute updates, accurate real-time updates from the same people that has been corrupt over the years, that has been known to steal, that has been known not to give you true information, and all of a sudden they give you...
Why don't they give us real stats on corruption?
No, they won't, because it doesn't suit the narrative. So now the question is exactly that. How is it that the South African on the floor that knows these people eat our money? I mean, every South African knows it, and it's not even a surprise. It's not even the government itself. Cyril Ramaphosa went on platform himself saying that we're going to set up an anti-corruption, does that and the other. We are dealing with Zuma's mess that he left us with. We're dealing with all these things. Every South African in their right mind knows these people are corrupt, these people lie, these people steal, these people do what they do. Every South African knows. It's not a surprise. The comedians make jokes about it. People talk about it. It's on the news every night. All of a sudden, every South African, all 70 million of us, we sit there and we listen to the same government that's been robbing us, cheating us for years, and we eat every word that comes from their mouth as if it's the gospel truth. There's a question, an honest question that I'm asking whoever's watching or the rest of South Africa.
The gospel truth, right? Based upon your earlier question, Jay, you asked where's the balance and what are we going to set our lives on? Right? It's clear that if you are a believer, that the Word of God is the final standard for your life, right? And everything in the Bible. That is why it's so important for people to get back to churches. Go online. Make sure that you get the Word of God in you, right? In order to, at their various churches, they must go online, get the Word, so that they've got a proper standard, something that they can believe in, trust in, something that is sure, that is tried and tested, and that God will never ever fail us. Yes, the governments are unsure, they are untrue, they are, you can't depend on them, but the standard is the Word of God.
I think just to hop on that question, for me personally, I believe that the government, bro, is also under pressure. And why I say this is because I do believe that South Africa now, more than ever before, we are controlled by a higher power. When I say a higher power, I don't mean spiritually. I mean someone from different countries and so forth on that is controlling everything that is taking place in the world today. So now what takes place is I will send out a virus, because I do believe it's man-made. I will send out a virus. This is where it will put your country. This is the state it will put your country in. Because of that, now you are forced to have a lockdown. And now from the lockdown, You are forced to obviously, stop people from working and all of that. Now you need funds. And now I will give you that funds. So I don't think it's necessarily, President Cyril's doings or
Look, every time
I think
before-
it is from a different.
Look every time before he speaks. And I want people to watch and listen. When he speaks, he says...
But the thing is, he's under pressure as we
He
speak,
is under
he
pressure,
knows,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And now someone else from a different country is controlling him.
And I believe that because
it's not yet
Nah,
on,
it's
bro.
not yet anymore. It's
Because
outside
now
of his
it's like,
control at this point.
let me send this virus. This was going to take place to your country. You're going to have to shut down. You're going to need funds. We're going to give you the 500 billion. You're going to get into debt. You won't be able to pay it. And now I can control you like a puppet.
So that's part of for me. Every time he speaks, he says, "We have sat with our board of advisors, and we've been advised from the CDC, the World Health Organization, that we must do 1, 2, and 3." So, which makes me agree with your point that he has to do what he's told to do. Here's my other thing. Last one, and then I'm out on this topic. Okay, this is my last one. World hunger is estimated at 9 million people a year. Google it, check it out. I know my computer's acting up. I wanted to show you guys on the screen. It's estimated that 9 million people a year die from world hunger. The solution is simple. The solution is within the reach of the world financially to achieve. Okay? A year, 9 million people die. That's almost 1 million people a month. That's just a little bit shy of 1 million people a month, okay? HIV and AIDS statistics, 7.7 million people living with HIV and AIDS only in South Africa. People dying much. So here's my question. Why is there so much marketing and energy put into where our statistics only reached 1 million on COVID-19 in less than a year, where the statistic on things that we have solutions to, just food, just average things that we can fix just by
Quickly.
giving someone a slice of bread, and there's no effort put into that, or there's no marketing put into the AIDS, there's no marketing put into all the other stuff. People came in the beginning and said, it's the same rates as this and this. And now another thing that somebody said to me the other day, someone that was working in the hospitals or whatever, was saying that they don't have stats for 2020 on people who died from diabetes, heart attacks, because all the stats just show COVID. So these things, you need to start asking questions,
bro,
guys.
I think
You can't just
I think it
accept
goes
whatever
back to my point that I just made about we're living in a monopoly, bro, where people wanna have power over everything that they can have power over. So like I said, it's someone from a different country, bro, that strategically they planned all of this. Send a virus, lock them down. They're gonna need money, and that's why they're only pushing that agenda and having a spotlight on that only, bro. And now, what takes place if you can't pay the money back? How do you pay it back? Land.
So you have to give it. I'm ending with this one, guys. Last question for Mr. Rowe. I want to find out if there wasn't so much marketing put into COVID-19, would we have seen the craziness we're seeing now?
No, definitely not. It's a case of, obviously, by word of mouth. If I let 50 people know that somebody died of COVID, right, I'm obviously sending out a message there. And what is the objective of that message? Is it a message of concern, or is it a message that is supposed to incite fear, right? If they, on the other end, how it's being put out there, it's being put in your face. The stats is there daily on every platform that you can find. You switch on your TV, the first thing that you see, it's the stats. You go on social media, it's the stats, right? So obviously, again, boils down to what we said earlier.
Are they misleading with the stats as far as not showing recoveries?
I'm going to answer you with a question, or basically a statement, question that you asked us earlier. Is everything that the government ever given us truthful? So that's questionable.
It is questionable.
It is questionable.
Especially coming
And
from such
remember
a
now,
questionable...
the topic here
Such a
today is
questionable
around
government.
conspiracy theories and what is going around in media and that, right? So, yeah, it's difficult to answer that question because really, you don't know if it's inflated or not. Fact or fiction. En hiermee staan ek terug met 'n dankbare hart.
But I think the question was more that they don't emphasize the recoveries on that, which is more than 80%, on that 1 point something million. In fact, only infections are put on the forefront and deaths are put on the forefront. No recoveries. But the question is, Jay, would it have been such a big thing if there was zero marketing put to COVID-19? Like, we're talking about zero marketing. It's not on social media. It's not on the news. It's nothing. You just heard that someone got something the other day. It felt like flu, but they're all right now. Here's the two worlds. Here's the two worlds. Line. Imagine a line down the middle.
Yeah.
Here's the world. No marketing. No nothing. No social media. No TV. No radio. No nothing. Right? That's this world. Here's this world that we're living in now. On 24/7, on any station, on any network, on any platform, on anywhere. Here's this world we're living in now. This world, what would 2021 look like in this world today as we're sitting here if there was absolutely zero marketing towards COVID-19?
Yeah, of course, I think people would, in general, just go about doing their business as we did in the past. And because, obviously...
What you don't know wouldn't bother you.
Wouldn't bother you. I think that's perfectly put. And because...
Do you think the death rates would have been as high as they are? Or even infection rates would have been as high as they are?
I don't know, bro.
I unequivocally say no. Because a lot of people...
I don't know, bro, because I don't know if what they're saying is the truth. So I can't answer you because I don't know if what they're saying, is it the truth or not?
For me,
I just personally believe that South Africa is in a really doomed place at the moment. We've sold ourselves, we're in this debt, and the only way we will now be able to pay that debt back is by land, and ultimately that is getting to the one currency.
Last one. Parler is a social media site that has decided to come outside of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Parler has subsequently been removed because it allows freedom of speech.
So it's removed?
Because it allows freedom of speech. So it's already been removed from Android, and iOS is talking about removing it. On the one point, because it allows freedom of speech. Does that not bother you?
It's end times, bro. I don't think I have more to say but the fact that it is end times. And for me personally, I just hope and pray, bro, that our people will get to that point of knowledge and understanding as to what's taking place. Because if you're not at that point, or if you don't, get yourself to that point in 2021, you're just gonna go with the grain. You're just gonna go with the grain and believe. My
computer was off just now.
Just gonna go with the grain and believe everything that's been shoved down your throat.
There's more than enough food in the world to feed everyone on this planet.
Yeah.
About 690 million people worldwide go to bed hungry each night. Conflict is
a major driver of hunger. The UN estimates that 122 million of 144 million, what's that word?
Stunned
children live in countries affected by conflict.
So that's what's causing world hunger. So the fact that the kids are stunned and there's conflict and there's fighting and there's all this kind of stuff. So that's just world hunger. We can check world AIDS. We can check all the other statistics where there's no marketing involved. And but the rates are literally 10 times higher. Literally. Is there an agenda? My answer is yes. 100%.
Definitely, bro. Definitely, and like I said, for
Is there
me, bro,
something else going on?
for me, I just hope and pray that our people will get to the understanding and the knowledge of what's taking place in the times that we're living in. And also, for us as believers, bro, I just hope and pray that we get to a point where fear is not our portion, bro. And I think more than ever before, I mean, I know of churches that's been shut down for the past year
For
now,
a
bro.
year now, yeah.
And a year can go to 2 years easily. I mean, COVID was 1 year anniversary is now in March. March is a couple of weeks away.
Exactly.
And a year can go to 2, 2 can go to 5, 5 can go to 10 with no church.
And some people...
And the Bible speaks about the gathering. I don't know anywhere in the Bible it speaks about there will be a time where
You're not supposed to gather.
you're not supposed to gather.
So yeah, guys,
But,
that's...
and also in conclusion for me, bro, I firmly believe that everything that's taking place now, bro, it shall not come against the church, because the Bible does say, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Shall not prevail. So to all the leaders, pastors out there, do not fear, because that's the spirit that God hasn't given us.
For real. Yeah, in conclusion, that was a super heavy one. It was a hectic one. But yeah, I think it needs to be spoken about, and people need to be open about it, and people need to start actually confronting and asking questions. Don't just believe whatever you hear. Don't just go with the flow. Don't just say, "Ooh, did you hear this? Did you see that? Did you hear the new this and new that?" And kind of just meander along life, just accepting whatever. Question things. Ask questions.
Facts.
Look at things deeper. Ask yourself different questions and go into it and see if it's legit, if it's not legit, what you feel about it, and be honest about it from your own feeling and your own heart as well. Don't just go with whatever you're being told.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, is my message for people.
Yeah, bro. And most importantly, like I mentioned, bro, just stand strong in your faith. Build, if anything, going back to the very first question that you asked on the show about the New Year's resolution, if anything, stay strong in your faith. Build your faith this year. The Bible says that the clean will make the unclean clean, not the unclean make the clean unclean. So I see a lot of believers that's in fear. Ooh, I can't do this. I can't go out. I can't, and so forth on. Build your faith. Stand strong in it. Stand strong on the word of God, and just know that you are the beacon of hope and light in everything that's taking place.
100%, I agree with you. Although they will tell you, you mustn't be ignorant and blah, blah, blah. Find a
Yeah, God gives us wisdom, but he also gives us stupid faith.
Sometimes too.
Yeah. Now, most of the times, in actual fact, stupid faith.
In fact, faith by itself is
stupid.
Is stupid. So you're supposed to do things that can't work. But be there as may, guys. That is our show for today. It was a heavy one. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. Also, share it with somebody that you think is interested in hearing this conversation today. That's our thoughts. Again, it's personal. We think what we think, and we believe that everyone's entitled to their thoughts, their opinions. You can share yours on the platform. You can comment down below. You can say what you feel, say what you think. You can agree, you can disagree. It's entirely up to you. But thank you so much for watching today's show. Please don't forget, the shows will start getting more and more interesting as things start going back to normal after the lockdown, or after the holidays, after people start getting back into the swing of things, and we'll start getting back into it. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's show. See you Monday. After Monday is, of course, the Inside Show, the Morning Shake with myself and, of course, Jay Paris. And then, of course, every morning at 9, we will have different shows. But for the Morning Shake between me and Jay, that will be on a Monday morning. See you guys next Monday morning. Love you. Bye-bye. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins, and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro.